Omar.
No, hi.
Welcome to the new episode of our pod Housemates. It's what? It's 10:30. You're feeling sleepy.
Glad to be here.
What happened today? Why you're feeling sleepy?
And didn't get to rest these days. A lot of work coming our way, so happens.
So it's like busy times.
Yeah.
But that's good for your bank, right?
Yeah, I don't know about that.
Better not to disclose it.
Yeah.
So if I lay down the objectives for today's podcast, what we wanted to talk about is, the current India-Pakistan conflict, and me being Indian, and me being in abroad, I'm seeing it from a witness state. So my opinion, your child is studying in Dharamshala, which is near to the Pakistan border. So your opinion, and also I've never experienced war, but you have experienced two major wars, and you were raised as a Muslim, Christian, so you kind of get me to the places where I've never been. So we'll talk about this if this is okay, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So current update about India-Pakistan war, like today on 13th of May, is basically there was a cease. So like Pahalgam attack.
Yes.
There was this Pahalgam attack where 26 people were killed, and the terrorist came and they asked to read. They asked the people to read Kalma.
Yes.
Some Muslim text,
Yeah.
and they also put
Kelma.
Huh?
Kelma
Kelma.
means the word of God or something like that.
Okay. And also they asked to pull their pants down to see if they're circumcised or not, and they killed the men. They left the women behind. So Indian Army started this operation called Operation Sindoor. Have you seen that? That red mark when the ladies they get married.
Yes.
So they put like a red. So the bindi and then the red mark.
Yes.
So that's the sign of marriage.
Yes.
So that's why I like the Indian Armed Forces named this operation as Operation Sindoor, because of the protection of the marriages, and they launched missiles precisely on terror sites. There was no army sites or civilian sites. And then, from that side also, the missile range and drone came. So that's correct. Now there's a ceasefire. It was broken, but that's sort of like an update of where we are going at.
Yeah, I mean this India-Pakistan war conflict, like which is now, is, I mean, of course there are a lot of things which are not known or confirmed as of yet. I mean, the journalists they say that it's they have to have proof, or like even the proof has to be confirmed, like independently verified.
Yeah.
So these things are quite like we don't have enough of these proofs, yes. So we don't know exactly, like the fog of war. So there might be some actors which they want this conflict to be, like, because unfortunately, for like in India, nobody except India, they don't want Pakistan to go away because it's there in the side of India, like it's keeping, like basically from a strategic point of view.
Who are they?
From a strategic, like the big players on the planet, it's not in their interest for Pakistan to go away or to be like friends with India or like close or like to not be something there, because China is obviously not interested, the USA and basically everyone. I don't know about Europe, probably same with America. They don't want Pakistan to go away, so they're basically giving them money, weapons, whatever, just to stand there, like. Of course, I mean, these countries, they don't want like conflict and stuff, but also they don't want.
They're giving them funds openly, like the IMF.
Yeah, I mean, the IMF, you know, they gave them money. Now Pakistan is fairly open, means like it's not like a secret state or something. So some of the money for sure will go through the military, like indirectly, but directly they fairly have like control, like this IMF they can see. So because it's still a democracy, I mean, in a way it's a military state.
Oh, Pakistan.
Pakistan, yeah.
It's not a democracy.
Yeah, but I mean it's not democracy, but they do have like foreigners. They can have transparency there. You know, they can check. I mean, the Americans have like they deployed troops from there. Probably Chinese, they have stuff there, you know, ships and whatnot, you know, like, so everyone is there basically. So they are fairly open to like foreign whatever, you know, like this thing. So means IMF officials or diplomats or so because of that they can trace, like, see the money where it is. And of course, yeah, might be somebody interested to keep them in play, you know, like Pakistan, to be in the turn of India. So like a thorn for in India's side. So basically this is from a strategic point of view, and it's actually fairly simple, you know, because all of this politics and conflicts eventually come down to the people, you know, because it started because Pakistan didn't condemn, you know, like, so as a state there are terrorists, like for example America, there's like somebody shooting a crazy person. Yeah. But the government, everyone on the planet, everyone, like the officials, people, mayors, whatever, they were like condemned. Like it's wrong, it's bad, terrible things, you know. The problem is with this, some of these states, they don't condemn. They're like, they don't say nothing, you know. So that means they're kind of like approving of it, or like at least they don't go against. So that means, so this is the problem with India, because they didn't condemn. They have probably proof that these terrorists, they are somehow linked, but of course they have like the secret services or whatever. Yeah. But it's not 100% because you cannot.
No, it's different. 100%, because the point is, when these sites, the terrorist sites, was bombed, the main there are different terrorist organizations, LET, Jaish-e-Mohammed, and so when the terrorists, when they died, they were treated as martyrs.
Yeah, exactly.
And you can see the pictures where their like bodies are there, wrapped in Pakistani flag.
Yeah,
this army is behind them.
This is the problem. Like these people, they have influence over their people there, like mosques and everything.
Terrorists.
The terrorists, yeah. Which
the army is the terrorist, basically.
Yeah, but they don't know. Like even if the army, like the politicians, they know it's like terrible and everything. Mm-hmm. But the people themselves, they support them because they are following like the religion. They follow the religious leaders, and they tell them that actually these people are great and they should attack and fight and whatever. So even if the politician wants to do, the problem in these countries is that it's very few people who are like ill-intended, but nobody can stand against them because of the conditioning of society, like through religion or social stigma. Japan was the same, you know, Second World War. If you say like, oh, let's peace and stuff, oh, you are weak, you have no honor and stuff, so nobody could speak out against like very few. The same, Malaysia, same stuff, like those people in power, like Islam and that's it, and if you say something, no, it's against, you are against us, means nobody can speak out. They can do whatever they want.
Because I read a story of a Japanese soldier who was, after the war finished, he was still in the forest for like 10 years.
More, yeah, until the 75 actually.
And
Yeah.
they found him and they were like, and he couldn't believe
Yeah,
that the
they had.
Japanese have lost.
Yeah, they had to bring his old commander, like literally.
like
He
the
was
god.
retired.
Yeah. I understand what
Yeah.
you were trying to say. Yeah, makes sense.
Yeah, so this is the same story in this, like in Pakistan, like when they bring like religion, finish, nobody can stand, because you say, oh, you are against God, you are against our ancestors, against whatever. So you can, whenever you try to speak out, they bring that one, and then like checkmate,
Yeah.
Then if you speak anything, you say, you are against our religion, against God, so sin or whatever, kill him, terrible, bad, whatever. So that's actually the problem. The voice of reason, it's overshadowed by this like societal condition. And this is happening, and it's crippling humanity for thousands of years, and it's happening everywhere,
Yeah.
Be it like all the major, like Christianity, Islam, Hinduism, like all these religions. So the teachings are not at all wrong, and they're amazing for humans, but they became frozen, like stuck,
Yeah, they stopped evolution.
They because nature is always moving, and the rules, they are stuck in the same things, so it doesn't work actually. Like the Europeans broke away, with the Renaissance and stuff, more or less, but the Muslim kind, like Islam, stuck being like the same, so it was an advantage because they didn't change it at all. So they were very homogeneous, like the whole Islamic countries, everyone had the same book, the same like letter by letter, but it didn't allow for evolution, and it was left behind basically from the 14th century onwards.
But I don't understand, like, there is a Quran in the library, right? And when I read it, of course there's mention like of killing and stuff. But there are 1,000 times they've also mentioned about love, peace, harmony and stuff.
Yeah.
And no, majority of them are not focusing on that side. They're just killing each other and stuff like those.
No, the problem in any religion is actually, in any people who supposed follow religion or something, they always blame others for their problem. They said, no, if the street was with the big cross or with the statue, I don't know, I would be better off. Or if the neighbor would pray more, I will have luck or something like this kind of nonsense,
And fear.
No, they will blame other. That's also, fear is one thing, but like this type of nonsense. They think if they force society like to be in a certain way, wearing, I don't know, flower hats or something, everyone will be happier, or something like that. But it doesn't work. The principles are nice and everything, but they don't work for everyone, and not for everyone they are created differently, to begin with, So obviously it won't work, such a thing, and especially to force something on nature. Because humans, believe it or not, they are part of nature. So whenever anything was forced on nature, like kill all the birds or try to kill insects, disaster happened, because So it's the same thing here, So I know these things because I was like also taught like this, I lived in.
I was never a pro.
Yeah.
I'm not a pro war. I was never a pro war. But for example, like in Mahabharata, when Shri Krishna went to stop the war to the father, and then he said, "Oh, give them just 5 villages.
Yes.
Just give them. They will, what."
Yeah.
And then Duryodhana said, "I won't give them even a needle of space." Then Shri Krishna came in like the warrior from it. It was like, now we have to fight for the dharma basically.
Yeah.
Because that's why I see. I mean, there are people who are like pro war against war and stuff, but I see like if someone is killing 26 people, asking for religion, this and that, that's an extreme, and you need to tackle it with some sense of.
No, yeah, it's true that war is terrible.
It's
Like
bad.
it's terrible and
It's
it's
bad.
nonsense and it's not required actually because there are very few. Now I know personally because I practiced martial arts from childhood, so I met a lot of these warrior people, you know, in different like secret service, soldiers, elite people, you know, like the real, and of course, most of them are nice people, but they have like an inclination, you know, like this is how they were born, built, I don't know. So they don't fear like death or war or whatever, and then if they become like extremists or like you target them somewhere, they're like, yeah, we'll do. They don't care. They're like this. So, so they will create havoc, you know, like that's a fact, you know. And if such a person, you know, goes like say into politics or like power or something, which they do get because they are quite skilled and knowledgeable, they can create havoc if nobody opposes them, because you know, like it's they are few actually, but if they are unopposed, they will dominate everything, you know. So this is how these problems actually start, you know, when people are not speaking up, you know, because of societal norms or whatever, and it's happening the most now on the planet in the Islamic world, the most, you know. But it's not just there, you know.
Yes,
also,
yeah.
like because of like for example the Philippines, you know, like the Catholic Church and stuff, like Catholic religion, not the church, you know, wherever this religious law goes into like people's laws, it's basically terrible existence. This is like a fact.
State and religion can't go hand in hand.
Yeah, it's a terrible, like people suffer, you know, like because if you want to be happy, you can be happy, you know, use the teachings, you know, in your own, they are meant for you personally, not for like the neighbor, and then you do whatever you want, you know, you force the neighbor to pray and you do, you know, like.
They're meant for you.
Exactly, yeah, they are meant for you personally, like to not like for other. If society by those teachings and harmony and stuff becomes whatever by its own, very good. If not, you carry on, you know, whatever you are doing.
I saw a film last night. Do you know Sofia Coppola?
Yeah.
Francis Ford Coppola's daughter. Francis Ford Coppola made The Godfather. So the film is Virgin Suicides.
Yes.
Have you seen it?
No.
5 daughters born in a strict Christian family, and there was super restriction. They were just going to school, and that's coming back. All the Christian laws was like the old Christian laws. You can't go out, you can't do this, you can't do that, and
Yeah.
they all ended up committing suicides in the end, because the world is moving in a different pace, and they were moving backwards. So they
Yeah.
couldn't. So they became very disrespectful to their parents, of course, if you put boundaries, and then they got suicide.
No, this is the problem, you know, like these people who are supposed to be religious or whatever, they say the word of God, you know, but the word of God is infinite, infinitely powerful, whatever. So if you are that, like a master, you know, then you shouldn't fear anything, you know. Let them do whatever if you are a master. If you fear and you cannot, then you're not a master, so you should like keep your mouth shut, you know, basically. If you have something to say about others that they are disturbing you, means you should check yourself out, you know, first. Then when you are not disturbed, then by example, you know, like you take it or leave it, means you can, for example, tell people, advise them, or like try to enhance, you know, their qualities or whatever. You say, okay, let's try to do it in a way, but that's it, you know, no more like if they don't want or like whatever, you know, like you leave it be, you don't go by force, inquisitors, these turban people, morality police, or like tell people what to do. Yeah, like in Iran, you know, it's like literally.
Iran.
Yeah.
So like if you can see like this bit, the morality police will come and catch you.
I don't know. I mean, I don't live in Iran, And the thing is, I did live in Iraq, but in Saddam Hussein's time, like he was against religion. So because they knew these people, like, because this is the thing, these people, dictators who want power, like real power, they know these scientists and business and stuff, this religion stuff, you will be poor basically, like in the Middle Ages and with horses and arrows, you know, if you follow it to the letter, you know. So then they needed smart people, and these smart people, they're not gonna be like fanatic. So
If we shoot this in Iran, no. But
no,
men,
man is fine. Yeah.
that's the problem. Religion always suppressed women. Religion.
Yeah, that's another topic. I
Always
think
like
it's
box. Yeah,
that
that's
should
another
be
topic
for another episode.
For another day.
And then he actually suppressed like religion, means like he didn't like, because he wanted like to develop like weapons, like science and stuff, which he did, you know, to get power. But of course he was like, you know, trying to dominate and whatever.
Yeah.
But different. So at least there, like I was taught in the family about like Islam, but like outside was like a modern state, you know, you can do whatever, like my teachers.
In Iran?
And yeah, my teachers in like middle school, they were wearing whatever, like skirts or like could wear whatever you want. Nobody said anything.
Oh, there's a spider. Can you take it in your hand? Oh my god. Oh my
That's good.
In the podcast. Yeah. What, are you a bit worried about the conflict? Like, of course, I'm Indian. I am worried about things and stuff, but are you worried as well? Because your son, who is 8 years old, is studying in the Shala, like in the mountains, and you know, we have Pathan go down where there was like drones and bombing at the Shala.
Yeah, I mean, how to say, like the authorities, they didn't say anything. And authorities, they didn't say like anything that is like danger or whatever. And it's very unlikely, you know, like something to happen, because as you said in the beginning, I was like through this first Gulf War. So people, they here and there, like they bombed the city, you know, but what does it mean bombed, you know, like one bomb, 2, 10, you know, it matters, you know, because now it's very difficult with all this like electronic warfare and stuff. So these missiles, whatever, who can travel like a long distance, they're not that much destructive. I'm sure they can destroy like a house or something, but that's nothing. They're like tens of thousands of houses, you know. So basically the damage is very limited, you know. From for example, you can come with like bombs on the airplane, but those are also difficult to launch because the aircrafts are vulnerable, so you can't deploy, like it's a whole operation, and even that time you bomb some things, but then they will put like defense, so you can't come again. You understand? So it's actually very difficult to destroy a place which is far. Before they were destroyed with artillery, you know, but now with all these drones, even artillery is like nerfed, because before there was nothing they can do. They would fire like for hours, whatever, flatten the city or whatever, villages. By the time they would, for example, especially if they destroyed the artillery of the enemy, by the time they would come with new stuff to target, to see what's going on, city destroyed, you know, or flattened, you know, like it takes few hours or whatever, days, I don't know the details. But now with these drones, they can only fire like for 3 minutes, you know, like, or even 1 minute and a half, like fire 2 or 3 shells, they have to skedaddle, you know, because they will see them and they will target them, you know.
Yeah.
So that means fewer rounds fired, you know, like you have to have like a lot of them, and you have to move all the time, so the destruction actually is very limited. Now it's only if you deploy like troops, you know, they do the most damage, like thousands of soldiers, they come in, booby trap, bomb the whole thing, you know, bring it down, you know, like, or something. Like kind of like how it was in Gaza, you know, the army went with like machines, engineering corps, like it's, imagine, because it's like how is construction is also demolition, you know. So it's expensive, you know, to fire like a rocket from thousands of, to demolish a house. You know?
Same like in the 72 war when India-Pakistan fought. Um, then Bangladesh was formed because 93,000 troops, Pakistani troops, actually surrendered on India's land and then the Pakistan.
Mhm.
And I remember I saw a picture 97 Kargil war. Pakistan has actually refused to take the bodies of the dead army people.
Mhm.
So like the Indians, they did the implementation and stuff in Islamic way
Yes.
with wrap Pakistani
Yeah.
flag because they were martyrs to the army people.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm not saying that I'm Indian and I should take side of India, but in this whole situation, India has done the most sensible thing. They haven't bombed civilians. They started with striking terrorists because we have asked so many times Pakistani people for investigation and stuff. Nothing happened. We just have 2001 terrorist attack.
I understand, but this is a different. Like the thing is, this is the thing. There is no easy way out. You know, like for example,
Yeah, of course.
everybody knows Pakistan is there, like thorn in the side of India. You know.
Yeah. Like
Now, why is it that? Because you have to remember that from the strategist point of view, which they look at the population, because in the end it comes to the population, you know, like if the population, they don't support the government or one mentality, it won't happen, you know.
Yeah.
Nothing will happen, even the most powerful dictator or whatever regime. And so then India is still mired in their old traditions, you know, like they do stuff they don't know, they lost the essence, they lost the knowledge, they didn't listen, they don't know why they're doing stuff, you know, they just do it because we know from the point of view like of investors, strategists, military, whatever, generals, they're like, these people are still not safe, you know, to give them, I don't know, advanced weapons or whatever, because they are still like, I'm talking like the common people, because they are the ones who will vote, you know. So if they still have this mentality, oh gods, this, that, then they cannot be trusted, you know, in a way, you know, because they say they will not listen to reason, you know, they will be like, oh, some scripture or something, and fanaticism, you know. So until the countries like before, for example, this news and stuff, the diplomats were like smart, like the Indian and every country, you know, in the world, even if their population was like low, they would try to trick them in a way, you know, like there wasn't that much information, they would write some article, you know, see how to trick them into something to evolve, you know, basically. And it happened many times everywhere in the world, you know. But now with this social media and everything like this, it's more difficult, you know, to do that. So unless the mentality of the population, like they get out of this, like they separate religion and to be for themselves, not like, oh, society, state and whatever, then it will always be an untrusted partner. Because imagine, for example, I want to do business with you. So we have, okay, we do these numbers, we do this, you do that, I do this, we'll see what happens. But then, and you follow the rules as in the contract, you know, let's say a contract, you know. But then you are somebody who's like, oh, I'm a believer and stuff. You come one day, I had a vision, God, you know, I'm not gonna, this clause, I'm not gonna do it. And because this is how it is, you know, I saw my priest or whatever said so. So imagine this happens, the next guy is like, yeah, these people are like, they need double, you know, like investment and stuff for the same amount, because we need to mitigate all these things, you know. So, and this is valid for everything, like imagine allies, you know, in a war and stuff, like said, okay, this is like how it is, the rules, whatever, let's do something sensible. So, no, I had the vision or something, or the priest, the people, they're like, yeah, we'll attack you, instead, not, so, now you understand, this is how it's viewed from a point of view of like a strategist,
Mm-hmm.
which are like masters of like this, like, they're all like probably historians or like social sciences, because they go deep in there. So this is how they make the calculation. Like, man, that region it's unstable, for like how, because even if they try, they try to put like money to build a state, went back to Middle Ages, Afghanistan, and they really tried, I mean, for sure, Americans, they were not the best at this thing. That's sure, because they were like, they were not like very flexible, For example, if you would put Europeans in charge of Afghanistan, things would have been differently, because they would be more open, to the people, to the culture,
Mm.
The Americans sort of like, man, not allowed, no water, no can do, just like this, But the Europeans, because they were exposed to culture, like they would be more flexible, with the local means, the grassroots, with the local people. They said, man, we need to build this, we need water, they're like, yeah, okay, let's make it work, So they obviously would be more friendly to the military or whatever, and they could actually develop, and trust them and everything. So it's about the people, from the grassroots. So the mentality of the people determines like the fate, of that region or state. So about this terrorism and stuff, we see like all of them are like most of them actually from Islamic background, Why is that? Because it's it didn't change, the religion didn't change. It stayed the same as like so it's very easy, and the way it's structured and it's done,
Yeah.
it's very easy to radicalize or like, because why they are not like, there are also like terrorists and other, but very little, and they were like more, but like 1,000 years ago, 500 years ago, they existed, but not. So this is the thing, and that's another topic about Islam and stuff, because like you said, they focus only on the kill and whatever, and because of others, I'm miserable, but
Yeah.
they don't look in their own families and stuff, like the unalignment, to the planet, to the world, how it works now, how it is happening. They are not at all aligned, and they're like, what's going on? We can't. Man, you have to change, like from inside. You, family, everything change, to flow, through all this changing environment and nature.
Yeah. Anyways,
But I'm really hoping, this conflict,
I'm also hoping.
I think it, I mean, because both sides, they don't really want, they don't need, it's not useful for any of them. So unless somebody is like in the pocket of somebody, like,
Yeah.
and badly, then yeah. But we don't know the details. We're still waiting to see exactly.
I think
So
the
people.
next one which you will record, if there's any more details you can talk about. Okay. It was nice talking to you.
Yeah.